The night was peaceful in rural Montana when the sky lit up. A bolt of blue-green fire shot through the darkness and struck farmer Joe Peterson's cornfield. The ground shook for miles around. In the morning, black SUVs and military vehicles surrounded the smoking crater. Inside was something no human had ever seen before, a ship not made by human hands. The metal glowed faintly even after it cooled, and strange symbols covered its surface. 3 days later, the world changed forever. The being inside the ship was alive. He called himself a scout for the Xerath Empire. Rulers of most of the known galaxy. More ships were arriving, it said. Many more. In Washington, D.C., Alex Morgan sat on a government plane, watching the news with a frown. He was 38, with brown hair beginning to gray at the temples and eyes that people said looked older than his years. His desk at the State Department was filled with reports about the crashed ship. Morgan called his boss from the door. "The president wants to see you." Alex looked up, surprised. Why not Secretary Davis? "Don't ask me, just go to the White House." Alex found himself in the Oval Office an hour later, facing not only the president, but also the Joint Chiefs of Staff and the National Security Council. Morgan said, "President, you study game theory and psychological warfare, right? And you speak 4 languages." "5, actually," Alex said, "but I don't understand." "We need someone who thinks differently," said the president. The Xerath Empire made contact again. "The main fleet arrives in 3 days. They want to meet our representative." A general spoke. "Their technology is centuries ahead of ours. If they want to fight, we cannot win by force." The president nodded. "That's why we're sending you, Morgan, not a politician, not a general. Someone who knows how to negotiate from a position of weakness." 3 days later, Alex stood on a platform at the newly constructed landing zone outside Denver. The air hummed with energy as a massive ship descended from the clouds. It was beautiful and scary, all smooth curves and bright blue lights, at least a kilometer long. A ramp extended and out stepped Lord Vexker, ambassador of the Xerath Empire. He was tall, almost 8 feet tall, with blue-gray skin that looked shiny. For arms crossed over his chest, in what Alex imagined was a gesture of authority. "You are Earth's chosen speaker." Lord Vexker's voice was deep, his English perfect despite his strange mouth. "I'm Alex Morgan, Earth's diplomatic representative," Alex said, holding out his hand. Lord Vexker ignored the gesture. "Your planet has the resources we need. Their technology is primitive. Its military power is insignificant. I am authorized to offer terms for your surrender." The cameras that broadcast this moment around the world captured Alex's slight smile. "Perhaps we should discuss this in private, Lord Vexker. Humans have a saying about catching more flies with honey than with vinegar. I don't understand your metaphor, human, nor do I need to." Lord Vexker gestured to the sky. "My fleet arrives tomorrow. We scan your world. We know your capabilities. To demonstrate our power and encourage your cooperation, we destroyed your research station orbiting the planet you call Jupiter." Gas stood up from the officers standing behind Alex. The Jupiter station housed 87 scientists. "That was unnecessary," Alex said calmly. "These people posed no threat to you. It was completely necessary. You will inform your leaders that they have 24 hours to agree to our terms. Otherwise, we will select a small town to serve as our next demonstration." As Lord Vexker turned to leave, Alex called out to him. "For decades you let us bring peace between our nations, Lord Vexker. But before that, we spent thousands of years perfecting the art of war against each other. You may want to research human history before making threats." The alien paused, narrowing all 4 eyes. "Is this a warning, human?" "Just a suggestion," said Alex. "Diplomacy works best when both sides clearly understand each other." As the alien ship ascended into the sky, Alex's phone rang. It was the president. "Morgan, go back to Washington now. We need to decide how humanity responds to this." Alex watched the ship disappear into the clouds. "Tell the United Earth Defense Council I have some ideas they need to hear." The United Earth Defense Council met in an underground bunker beneath the Rocky Mountains. 50 people sat around a large table, presidents, prime ministers, and military leaders from all the great nations. Their faces were grim in the bright light. Alex Morgan stood at the front of the room, his shadow against the wall behind him. "They killed 87 people to defend a position," the U.S. president said. "What do you think they will do next?" General Martinez, head of Earth's combined forces, stood up. Our best weapons would barely scratch their ships. If we fight directly, we will lose. So do we surrender? Asked the Chinese premier. No, Alex said firmly. We do not fight them, and we do not surrender. The room fell silent. Alex went to a screen on the wall and displayed images of the Ziriath ship. Lord Vexcar expects us to attack futilely or give up completely. He doesn't understand humans. We need to show him who we really are. And how do you suggest we do this? Asked the Russian president. Alex took a deep breath. I studied psychological warfare at university. Before joining the State Department, I worked on conflict resolution in war zones. I learned something important. Sometimes the strongest weapon isn't a gun or a bomb. It's fear. He tapped the screen, bringing up old images of war. Humans have been fighting each other for thousands of years. We got really good at it. The Ziriath have superior technology, but I don't think they understand war like we do. What exactly are you suggesting, Morgan? General Martinez asked. I need authority to conduct negotiations my way. I need access to historical archives on human conflicts. And I need a ship. The Defense Council discussed for hours. Some thought Alex's plan was foolish. Others saw no better option. In the end, they gave him what he asked for. 3 hours later, Alex was sitting in a small office reviewing confidential files. His eyes were red from lack of sleep. Captain Samantha Kelly entered without knocking. So you're the diplomat they're handing my ship to, she said. Alex looked up. Captain Kelly was tall, had short blonde hair, and a direct gaze. Her uniform showed that she had served in the North Atlantic War. Captain Kelly. Alex stood up and offered him his hand. I read about the U.S. Defiant. Impressive ship. The most advanced we have, she said, without taking his hand. And now some State Department official is going to use it for a suicide mission. Alex dropped his hand. It's not suicide. Strategy. She frowned. The Defiant has the best crew in the fleet. We are fighters. What do you need us for if not to fight? I need you to help me scare the most powerful empire in the galaxy. Kelly looked at him like he was crazy. Scare them with what? Our very inferior weapons. Alex turned the screen so she could see. It contained images of the bloodiest conflicts on Earth, ancient battles, world wars, modern guerrilla tactics. The Ziriath think they know war because they have conquered weaker species. But humans? Alex shook his head. We are improving the art of killing each other since we came down from the trees. Captain Kelly studied the images. You will threaten them. No, I will educate them. Alex opened a file called Project Pandora. Did you know that humans are the only known species to have created weapons specifically designed to cause pain rather than death? The only species to develop psychological warfare as a science. Understanding dawned on Kelly's face. You're not planning on fighting them physically. Exactly. The Ziriath must learn that humans do not lose or surrender. Alex closed the file. We adapt. We find weakness. We explore this. And if they don't scare easily, Alex's eyes were cold now. Then we show them why all species should fear a trapped human being. Captain Kelly was quiet for a moment. Then she offered her hand. The challenge is yours, Mr. Morgan. When do we leave? Lord Vexcar expects our surrender within 18 hours. Alex said, taking her hand. We have work to do before then. The flagship Ziriath hovered in space like a giant blue-black knife. It was 10 times larger than any human ship ever built. Alex Morgan stood at the window of the approaching small bus and tried to appear calm. Prepare? Asked Captain Kelly from the pilot's seat. Alex nodded, even though his throat felt dry. On the floor between them were 3 metal boxes. One was much smaller than the others. Remember, Alex said, no matter what happens inside, stick to the plan. The ship docked with a slight jolt. 4 Ziriath guards met them, each carrying weapons that glowed with a strange energy. They towered over humans, their forearms making them look like walking trees with blue skin. The human representative will come with us, said a guard. The other must stay. Captain Kelly is my assistant. Alex said firmly. She stays with me. And we need these cases for my presentation. The guards looked at each other, but finally nodded. They led Alex and Kelly down long hallways that seemed to be made of living metal. The walls pulsed with a soft light. They entered a large round room. In the center stood Lord Vexcar on a floating throne. Surrounding him were at least 20 other Ziriath officers. You are late, human, said Lord Vexcar. Your time to surrender expired an hour ago. I'm not here to surrender, Alex said. He pointed to the boxes Kelly was placing on the floor. I'm here to give you important information about humans before you make a terrible mistake. Lord Vexgar laughed, a sound like stones falling from a hill. What might we need to know about your primitive species? Alex opened the first suitcase. Inside were dozens of small data disks. They contain historical records of human warfare throughout our history. He handed one to a nearby guard. Please show this to Lord Vexgar. The guard placed the disk in a slot in the arm of the floating throne. A hologram appeared in the air above them. It showed ancient Roman legions marching across Europe, medieval knights in bloody battles, and modern soldiers fighting in cities. Was this done to impress us? Lord Vexgar asked. Their weapons are sticks and small metal projectiles compared to ours. I'm not showing you our weapons, Alex said calmly. I'm showing our history. Humans have been fighting and killing each other for thousands of years. We had time to perfect it. He nodded to Kelly, who opened the second suitcase. This one contained more records. This shows how humans fight when we are defeated. Alex continued. New images fill the air. Guerrilla fighters hiding in the jungles. Resistance moves using simple bombs against tanks. Civilians transforming everyday items into deadly weapons. Interesting tactics, said a female Xyroth Par Ada close to Lord Vexgar, but still ineffective against our technology. Maybe, Alex admitted, but there's something else you should know about humans. He walked to the small third suitcase and slowly opened it. Inside was a single black cylinder. What is that? Lord Vexgar asked. Contains records of humanity's darkest moments. Alex said things we're not proud of, but you need to understand. He removed the cylinder and placed it on the hologram projector. The images that appeared made even some Xyroth flinch. Chemical warfare victims of Earth's wars. Torture methods developed over centuries. Psychological warfare tactics designed to break minds rather than bodies. Humans are the only species known to have developed weapons specifically designed to cause pain rather than death. Alex explained in the same calm voice. The only species that has turned psychological warfare into a science. He approached Lord Vexgar. We don't want to fight with you. We would prefer to have peace, but if you force us into war, you should know what you are dealing with. Are you threatening the Xyroth Empire? Lord Vexgar's voice was low and dangerous. No, Alex said. I'm educating you. There is a difference. Lord Vexgar looked at him for a long moment. Then he waved his hand, and the holograms disappeared. You have one more day to reconsider your position, he said, then we will show you true power. As the guards led them back to the ship, Alex caught the attention of a younger Xyroth officer who was watching him with what appeared to be concern. What Alex thought was exactly what he expected. Back on the U.S. Defiant, Alex sat alone in his quarters. The meeting with Lord Vexgar went as planned, but he knew it was not enough. The Xyroth still viewed humans as weak. A soft knock on his door interrupted his thoughts. Come in, he called. Captain Kelly walked in with a tablet in her hand. We received a transmission from Earth. The Defense Council wants an update. Alex took out his tablet and sent a brief message. First phase completed. Continuing with phase 2, he returned it to Kelly. Any sign that the Xyroth are watching us? 3 of your scout ships are tracking our position, Kelly confirmed. Just as you expected. A computer beep interrupted them. On the screen was a strange message and symbols that were quickly translated into English. Request a private meeting. Information to share. Senior and Junior Science Officer, Xyroth Fleet. Alex raised an eyebrow. Looks like someone is curious. It could be a trap, Kelly warned. Or exactly what we need. Alex replied. Organize the meeting. Maximum security. 2 hours later, in a small ship floating in neutral space between the Challenger fleet and the Xyroth fleet, Alex sat across from a young Xyroth officer. Alto was smaller than the other Xyroth Alex had seen, with lighter blue skin and nervous forehand movements. You're taking a big risk by meeting me, Alex said. Tall's big eyes moved around. The Empire doesn't allow unofficial contact with potentially conquering species, but after your introduction, I had doubts about humans. Yes, Tall leaned forward. I accessed our historical archives. The Xyroth Empire has conquered 57 species across 12 sectors of space. No one has ever resisted for long. Alex requested. And none of them had his war record. Tall's voice fell. I reviewed the records you provided. Humans have waged more wars against themselves than the Xyroth have waged against all other species combined. Alex nodded slowly. War is nothing new to us. Lord Vexgar considered his presentation a bluff. Cattol continued. But some of us aren't so sure about the things you've shown us. He has trembled slightly. That was from our past, Alex said. We learned to live in peace with each other, but remember how to fight when necessary. Cadol looked directly at him. The invasion begins tomorrow. Lord Vexker ordered attacks on his largest cities first. Thanks for telling me that, Alex said calmly, without showing surprise. But why betray your own people? Cadol's forehands twisted. I am a scientist. I study species. In all my research, I have never found one like yours. Technologically behind us, but with a lot of intensity. I fear what will happen if we force you to fight. After Cadol left, Alex returned to the Defiant and called an emergency meeting with Captain Kelly and his superior officers. The invasion begins tomorrow, he told them. Prepare to execute Operation Shadow. That's a risky plan, said Commander Peterson, the weapons officer. If it fails, Earth will receive no warning of the attack. It won't fail, Alex said firmly. And the Earth is already preparing. He turned to the communications station. Send this message to all Ziriev ships. We try for peace. Remember this. The police officers looked at each other nervously. They will see it as a threat, Kelly said. Good. Alex's face was hard now. Because it is one. He walked to the main screen, where Ziriev's massive fleet was visible in the distance. Hundreds of ships, each powerful enough to destroy a city. Captain, position the Defiant according to these coordinates, he said, handing Kelly a datapad. She looked at the numbers and frowned. This puts us between their fleet and Earth. But at a strange angle, we would be exposed. Exactly where we need to be, said Alex. When they move to attack, they will have to get past us. And then what? Asked Commander Peterson. We can't fight them all. Alex smiled, but there was no warmth in it. We will not fight them. We will teach them. The attack began at dawn. The Ziriev spacecraft first descended to Earth's moon, where humans have built research bases and small colonies. The aliens expected easy victories. They were wrong. Lord Vexker emerged from his command center when the reports arrived. Moon Base Alpha has fallen, my lord, said a commander. But we lost 12 soldiers. 12? Vexker frowned. How is this possible? Our scans showed minimal defenses. The humans have set traps, my lord. Hidden explosives. Poisoned air systems. One group locked themselves in a room and decompressed it when our troops entered. Suicidal tactics. Vexker dismissed. The actions of desperate primitives. Another officer approached. My lord, we captured the Lunar Command Center, but the human leader activated a video transmission before we could stop him. Show me. Vexker ordered. A screen lit up showing the human man in a torn uniform. Blood ran down his face. People of the Earth. The man said calmly despite his injuries. The Ziriev conquered the moon. Remember your training. Remember the plan. Remember what makes us human. The screen went black. What plan? Vexker demanded. What training? Our intelligence said they didn't have a unified defense strategy. Nobody responded. On U.S. Defiant, Alex Morgan watched the same broadcast. His face showed no emotion, but his knuckles were white where he gripped the edge of the console. The lunar bases fought well. Captain Kelly said softly from beside him. They gave us time. Alex nodded. Now for the next step. Prepare the feeds. Around Earth, Ziriev ships entered the atmosphere, targeting major cities. New York, London, Beijing, Moscow. The ships sent demands for immediate surrender. To the alien surprise, each city responded quickly, agreeing to surrender without resistance. In New York, the Pref himself Ado came out with a white flag to face the Ziriev forces. Lord Vexker decided to disembark in person to accept New York's surrender. His massive ship descended into Central Park, crushing trees and monuments beneath him. As Vexker walked down the ramp, surrounded by guards, he noticed something strange. The city was quiet. Very quiet. The mayor approached with several employees. We have surrendered New York to the Ziriev Empire, he formally announced. Where are your people? Demanded Vexker, looking at the empty streets around him. Evacuated. The mayor said simply. At that moment, Vexker's communicator exploded with urgent messages from his ships around the world. Each landing zone was the same. Cities completely empty of people, with only a few employees left to surrender. My lord, called one of Vexker's guards suddenly. Our scanners detect energy signatures beneath us. The whole city is. The ground shook. Not just in New York, but in every city Ziriev has touched down. Non-lethal explosives were detonated, not powerful enough to destroy the alien ships, but strong enough to damage the landing gear, communications networks, and sensor systems. On Zeriath's main command ship, chaos erupted as reports came in from around the world. The occupation forces were being ambushed by invisible enemies. The traps disabled their weapons. Strange gases made soldiers dizzy and confused, and wherever the Zeriath went, they found the same message painted on the walls. We try for peace. Alex Morgan's face appeared on every communication channel in the Zeriath fleet. Only somehow, humans broke into your secure system. Lord Vexker, Alex said calmly, I see you have known the true land now. Where are you hiding, human? Vexker growled. Your tactics only delay the inevitable. We're not hiding, Alex replied. We are hunting. The transmission has ended. Moments later, the first Zeriath patrol disappeared into Central Park. Then another in London. Then, 5 more in Beijing. For the first time in his long life, Lord Vexker felt something new creeping up his spine. Neither anger nor frustration. Fear. Find Morgan, he ordered. Bring it to me. 3 days after the invasion began, Lord Vexker sat in his command center, reviewing the latest reports. His face showed no emotion, but his forehands twitched nervously. We have secured the main landing zones, said his military commander. But our casualties are unexpected. How many? Vexker asked. 217 dead. More than 1,000 injured. 43 missing. Vexker slammed his fist on the table. Impossible. These humans have primitive weapons. They are not fighting with conventional weapons, my lord. The commander explained. They used the environment against us. Traps. Ambushes. Psychological tactics. Explain. The commander looked uncomfortable. Some areas have recordings of human children crying, luring our soldiers into traps. Other places have traps that do not kill, but maim in ways that require maximum medical attention, taking more of our forces away from combat. And worst of all, continued the commander, they returned 10 of our captured soldiers this morning. I returned them. Why is this bad? Vexker asked. The soldiers were physically unharmed, but mentally weakened. They keep repeating the same phrase. Humans don't lose. They just change the rules. A junior officer entered the room and handed Vexker a data pad. My lord, we have located the human Morgan. He requests a meeting. Vexker's eyes narrowed. Where is he? On his ship, the Challenger. He didn't move from his position. Prepare my ship, Vexker ordered. I will speak to this human myself. An hour later, Lord Vexker entered a small office room. Meetings aboard the U.S. Defiant. Alex Morgan sat alone at a table, looking calm. Your resistance is impressive but futile, Vexker said without greeting him. I have ordered the orbital bombardment of your major cities to begin tomorrow. Alex didn't seem surprised. I thought you might try this. This will wipe out their species, Vexker warned. No, Alex said simply. It won't. He pressed a button on the table, and a holographic map appeared showing vast underground structures beneath every major city on the planet. During what we call the Cold War, humans spent decades preparing for global conflict. Alex explained, we build huge underground complexes that can house millions of people. Food stores, water purification, manufacturing facilities. We could live underground for years if necessary. Vexker looked at the map. You knew we were coming. No, we built this because we were afraid of each other. Alex's voice was low now. That's what you don't understand about humans, Lord Vexker. We have spent thousands of years preparing for the worst for our species. Alien invasion. It's just a different enemy, but the same old fight. Then we will find these underground bases and destroy them as well, Vexker said. You can try? Alex stood up. But while you search, I must tell you about Captain Kelly's mission. What mission? Right on cue, Captain Kelly's voice came over the ship's communications system. Operation Whisper complete, Mr. Morgan. All devices deployed. Alex smiled. The Challenger was never meant to fight your fleet, Lord Vexker. It carried thousands of small devices that were attached to every ship in your frota. Bombas. Vexker perguntou. Sua malmovendo se para sua arma. Neo, algo muito mais eficaz. Alex apertou outroboitao. Toda a frota ziria, todas as naves, os dispositivos formativados. Eles invadiram os sistemas de comunicação do Ziria e cumpriram a transmitter diretamente para cada soldado alienígena, os sons de seus camaradas feridos. Imagens de combatentes de resistência humana se preparando para a batalha. Videos explicando o que acontecia com Ziria capturada, que neo se rendu. Guerra psicológica, explicou Alex. Adaptado especificamente aos medos e dúvidas de Ziria, como ajuda de nosso amigo Cattle. Os alhos de Vexker se irregularam. Cattle am trader. Cattle am cientista que reconheceu o perigo de subestimar os humanos. Alex corrigiu. Neste momento, os seus soldados estão a aprender exactamente o que significaria uma guerra prolongada com a humanidade. O comunicador de Vexker apitou com urgência. Meu senhor, veio uma voz em pânico. A guerra estelar está se rendendo aos humanos. Ok. Vexker rugiu. Mas tres navios também estão desligando as armas. A voz continua. As tripulações estão recusando ordens de disparar em terra. Vexker olhou para Alex com uma nova compreensão. E finalmente, medo real. O que você está? Ele sussurrou. O que você está? Vexker perguntou. Alex Morgan olhou o líder alienígena diretamente nos quatro olhos. Somos humanos. Queremos a paz, mas nos preparamos para a guerra. Sempre. O comunicador de Vexker continua a relatar o desastre. Mas navios se rendendo. Tropas de pondo armas. O chaos se espalha pela outrora poderosa frota de Ziriath. Isso é impossível, murmurou Vexker. O Imperio Ziriath conquista 57 especies em toda a galáxia. Neo podemos ser derrotados por primitivos que maldixeram o seu próprio planeta. Você neo está sendo derrotado pela nossa tecnologia, disse Alex. Você está sendo derrotado pelo seu próprio medo. Ele conduziu Vexker a tela de visualização. Lá fora, os navios Ziriath estavam em desordem. Alguns ainda estavam em formiqueo de ataque, mas muitos estavam desligando suas weapons. Some were even retreating. Their mistake was thinking that conquering humans would be like conquering other species. We have been fighting ourselves for thousands of years. We know every trick, every tactic, every terrible thing that can be done to break an enemy's will. Vexker slammed his fist into the wall. I can still destroy your cities in orbit. I can turn your world to ashes. And what would that result? Alex asked calmly. You have seen our underground complexes. Millions would survive. And these survivors would never stop fighting you. Not for years, not for generations. His empire would bleed soldiers forever trying to hold the land. Captain Kelly entered the room with Ketal at her side. The young scientist Ziriath looked nervous but determined. Lord Vexker, Ketal said, bowing slightly. I analyzed human resistance patterns. They are using only 20% of their military capabilities. They are holding back. Holding. Vexker growled. Why? Because we don't want to destroy you. Alex replied. We want you to understand us. To respect us. To leave us alone. Another message arrived through Vexker's communicator. The Supreme Council of the Ziriath Empire demanded an explanation for the disaster unfolding on Earth. Vexker looked at the humans, then at Ketal, then back to the screen showing his ruined invasion force. What do you want? He finally asked. A treaty, Alex said. Equal status for Earth. No conquests, no demands. Just mutual recognition and peace. The Empire has never signed a treaty of equality with any species, Vexker said. So it's time for something new. Alex handed him a datapad. These are our terms. They are fair. Vexker read the document slowly. And if I refuse, Alex's face hardens. So we stopped holding back. Psychological warfare was just the first phase. We have plans for phases 2 through 5. You won't like them. For a long moment, Vexker was silent. The proud commander Ziriath, veteran of a dozen campaigns of conquest, had never faced a choice like this before. The Ziriath built our empire on our superior strength, he said finally. But there are different types of strength, right? Yes, Alex agreed. The strongest warrior is not always the one with the biggest weapons. Sometimes it's the one who lost the most battles and learned from them. Outside, another Ziriath ship shut down its weapons. Then another. Vexker looked back at the datapad and then at Alex. I will need to consult the Supreme Council. Of course, Alex nodded. When Vexker turned leaf, he paused. Morgan, tell me something. If we had originally come in peace, would all of this have been necessary? Alex smiled sadly. No, humans value peace highly because we know all too well the cost of war. A lesson the Xeriath Empire is learning too late. Vexker said. It's not too late, Alex corrected. Just at a great cost. After Vexker left, Captain Kelly approached Alex. Do you think they will sign the treaty? Alex watched the Xeriath ship return to its flagship. They have no choice. They finally understand what they are dealing with. And what is this? Kelly asked. Humanity. Alex said simply. The species that turned war into an art form and then chose peace anyway. 3 weeks later, Alex Morgan was in the Great Hall of the United Nations in New York. The damage from the brief invasion was largely repaired. Representatives from all the nations of the world occupied the seats. At the front of the room, a large table waited with an important document on it. The Xeriath delegation has arrived, announced a voice over the loudspeaker. Lord Vexker entered, followed by several other Xeriath officials, including cattle. The aliens looked less intimidating now, walking slowly and respectfully instead of marching like conquerors. The UN Secretary-General stepped forward to greet them. Welcome to land, this time officially and peacefully. Vexker tilted his head slightly. We came with the authority of the Supreme Council of the Xeriath Empire to sign the treaty. The ceremony was simple. Earth representatives and Xeriath officials took turns signing the document that recognized Earth as an equal partner in galactic affairs. No conquests, no demands, just mutual respect and peace. After the signing, a small reception was held. Alex found himself near a window with Vexker. Your Supreme Council agreed more easily than I expected, Alex commented. Vexker made a sound that might have been laughter. It's not easy, but Cattle presented them with a detailed analysis of what would happen if we continued trying to conquer Earth. And what was that? Total failure, Vexker said simply. Even if we destroyed every city on the surface of your planet, the survivors would eventually rebuild and come after us. The Council found this worrying. Alex smiled. We can be persistent. The Council had another question. Vexker continued. They wondered why. If humans are so dangerous and skilled in war, you didn't develop faster than light travel and conquer other worlds. What did you tell them? That maybe humans spent so much time fighting each other that they had less time to look at the stars. Vexker paused. Was this correct? Alex shook his head. Not entirely. We could have focused more on space travel, even with our conflicts. We chose to work on other problems first. Like what? How to live together in peace, said Alex. How to share resources. How to solve problems without fighting. We're still working on these things, but we've made progress. Across the room, Captain Kelly was showing Keetle and other Xeriath officers photos of Earth's natural wonders. The aliens seemed genuinely interested, asking questions and listening intently to the answers. The treaty includes the exchange of knowledge. Vexker noted that his people will learn about faster-than-light travel, and his people will learn about human culture and history. Alex replied, I think we both have a lot to teach each other. Vexker was quiet for a moment. The Empire has never been defeated before. Some called for their planet to be destroyed from afar, regardless of the treaty. What stopped them? Fear, Vexker admitted. Not just about what humans might do in response, but also about the fear of becoming the kind of empire that would destroy a world out of wounded pride. Alex nodded. This is a different kind of fear, a healthy one. Later that night, Alex was on the roof of the UN building, looking up at the stars. Captain Kelly joined him. The president offered you any job you wanted, she said. Secretary of State, Ambassador to Xeriath, head of the new Department of Galactic Affairs. Alex smiled. I accepted a different position. I will train new diplomats, teaching them what I have learned. Which is what? This true diplomacy is not just about making peace, Alex said. It's about making sure everyone understands exactly how much it would cost to break that. Peace. He looked up at the stars again, where the Xeriath ships now peacefully orbited Earth. We teach an empire to fear us, he said. Now we need to teach them and ourselves something more important. What is that? Kelly asked. How to respect others without fear. Above them, a shooting star crossed the night sky. The universe has become much bigger for humanity and much more interesting. The species that mastered the art of war proved that they could also master the greater challenge of peace.